Velina mai kako. Welcome to Keep It Aloha, a podcast that keeps it aloha by having a good heart. So good that some may even say you have a pure heart. I'm your host Kamaka, and if more people had more pure hearts out there in the world, this world would be a better place. We have guests today who have very pure hearts, but before we introduce them, I gotta remind you to check out our website at keepitaloha.com to get some KIA merch, and check out our Patreon at patreon.com to get exclusive access and behind the scenes access to this podcast. We're an independent podcast, and all funds go to helping us run this podcast and bring you the best quality content every week. Shout out to our newest Patreon member, Taylor Ilima. Mahalo for joining the Kako'o tier. I hope you enjoyed the uncut episodes released 2 days before they are released to the public. If supporting this podcast with money is not for you, but you still love listening to us, please consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It would mean the world to me. We have great guests today. They are known as Pure Heart. We have legend Jake Shimabukuro, we have legend Jon Yamasato, and legend Lopaka Colón here. We get into their whole origin story. We just talk story, and I feel like I was just a fly on the wall listening into their conversations and hearing them reminisce about their time coming up as Pure Heart. So you're going to enjoy the episode. If you're a fan of them, just like I am, you're going to really like what they have to say. All right, let's introduce our guests. Support for this podcast comes from Texaco in Hawai'i, which features 58 convenient locations across the state. Fueling up at Texaco is fast and easy when you use the Texaco mobile app to pay at the pump. The Texaco mobile app is a contactless way to pay for fuel so you can get in and out of the gas station quickly. Fuel your car and fuel yourself. Pick up your favorite local snacks and ice cold drinks at your neighborhood Texaco today. Texaco at Techron, driving performance. Our guests today are legendary musicians from the island of O'ahu and Moloka'i. Our first guest is a guitarist and vocalist turned real estate agent with years of experience in the music industry and real estate, putting together 150 real estate transactions and sales in excess of over 200 million. He is also the creator of High Sessions, which showcases musical artists in Hawaii, and also hosts his own podcast with the same name. Our second guest is a world-renowned ukulele musician and past podcast guest. He is considered to be the Jimi Hendrix of the ukulele and has millions of accolades, which I will not read right now because we will be here for another 20 minutes. So you can check out his episode 39 or Google him to learn more. Our third guest is a very talented percussionist who has been a key component in success of several local bands such as CNK, the Barefoot Natives, Makana Trio, the Waitiki 7, and Don Tiki. He has also collaborated with McDonald and Mick Fleetwood. Together, these guys burst onto the island music scene in their early 20s as a group called Pure Heart. They are rated in the top 50 musical groups of all time in Hawaii and was one of Hawaii's youngest musical groups ever to take the local music scene by storm in such a short period of time. This trio has won 5 Hoku Hanohano awards, including Album of the Year. I am so stoked to talk stories with them today. Their names are Jon Yamasato, Jake Shimabukuro, and Lopaka Colón. Aloha, Jon, Jake, and Lopaka. Welcome to the Keep It Aloha podcast. How you doing?
Thanks for having us.
That was the longest intro ever.
Thanks for that great intro.
Thank you. Thank you.
I stumbled a little bit, but we made it.
When you say it like that, it sounds like we're accomplished and stuff.
Yeah, kind of. A little bit. And then I only shared what little I found on, the Google,
The
but
interwebs,
I'm sure there's a
yeah.
lot more that I missed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, it just goes to show how long we've been doing this.
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years. Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, mahalo for coming in. Jake, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you
You're
so
in our
much.
new studio now, so
your new studio
welcome
is
back.
amazing, beautiful.
Thank you.
Great.
And
I
it's
love
great.
the artwork.
Yes, shout out to Kaylin, art by Sachiko.
Caitlin.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the painting they can see on the actual footage, but I'm sure they can see at least half. Yeah.
And we actually covered this song.
Exactly, which is it's a really cool coincidence.
Awesome.
She asked for a picture of all of us with it after. So after
Was
the
this our
podcast, we can take a picture.
first album or second album?
Covered the song.
Yeah.
Got plenty.
Think about it. John's figuring it out.
Oh boy.
Oh, got it. Bam.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yes,
understand.
got plenty lychee.
I thought you were talking about like the name of the song. I was so confused.
This
Yeah,
was the song.
so it's called the Mr. Sancho Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my proudest moment because we went to see Kaylin's opening night, and as soon as we walked in, I took my youngest son, and we walked in. As soon as he saw it, he goes, "Oh, Dad, that's the Mr. Sancho Lee song." So I was like, "Yes."
Well, can we do Mr. Sancho Lee nowadays? Now, can we? Come on,
I don't know.
You are the official. Will you grant us? You know, because
I mean, you have my permission. I don't think you need my permission, but you have my permission.
No, but I mean, we haven't been playing it lately just because, you know, might rub some people the wrong way or whatever. But
I mean, I'm all for like old school comedy, old school humor. I feel like my generation is so soft. I don't really adhere to that kind of stuff. Yeah, I feel like funny is funny, and especially Hawaii. You know, where that type of comedy, the stereotypes, it was a part of Hawaii comedy, and you know, I think in ways it brings people together. I feel like if you don't get teased, then you feel left out.
Right.
Yeah,
I think knowing these guys all my life, we all got teased at some point. Yeah.
When we created
Still.
Covered it. Yeah,
I mean, that was one of our points, is to showcase something like that. But we didn't realize how much it gravitated people when we performed it live. Right? This is when we first started, especially remember when we were in Lahaina?
It was really like a showcase so Lopaka could express all his different personalities and voices. We want to show his diversity. He doesn't just do animal calls.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
He does other impressions. Okay, well, maybe at halftime we'll do a little performance and you can decide.
All right.
But I would love to just get into all of your life stories. Jake, you have only 5 minutes since you've already been on. Okay, so I'm gonna cut you off at 5 minutes. If you go longer than 5 minutes, no,
That's fair. That's fair.
We'll start from here. So we'll go. Where are you from? Where you grad? And what was it like growing up?
Oh, where I'm from. I consider myself from here, but as you kind of mentioned before we started, I was born in West Covina, but I moved here when I was 2. And I grew up on the east side, Hawai'i, went to Kaiser High School.
Yeah, Kaiser grads, you and I.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, all these wonderful people come from Kaiser.
Yeah.
But yeah, so public school, and met these guys when I was, I think, 15, 16, something like that. And yeah, and that what you want more like?
And what was it like growing up? What
was it like growing up?
Into?
Man, I guess I would call it typical, you know, Hawaii kid, like used to surf and fish and play music and do all that stuff in the 90s. There's no phones, so couldn't say that I did any social media or anything like that, right? But yeah, it was just now that I think about it, growing up, once I started playing ukulele, everything was music. You know, music.
When did you first get into the ukulele?
It was 7th grade, because people started. So at that time was, I'm trying to think, it was like 1990 or 91 or something like that. And then Kyle Creative Boys became real big time. And so everybody started carrying out ukuleles at school. And so, you know, your friends are playing, and so okay, you know, John, why don't you try? So they hand you the ukulele, and you and then so from there I started playing around, and then started singing with them and stuff. And yeah, that's how I started getting into it. But and then I met this guy, and you know, we started playing. Yeah, student council.
Yeah, I always say it's the dorkiest origin story.
Dorkiest origin story in all of Hawaiian music. And then he used to work with Lopaka, so you know, that's how the whole thing went.
Okay,
as
cool.
Far as the music scene, but yeah.
Okay, so what about you, Lopaka? Where are you from? Where you grad? What was it like growing up?
Actually, I was born here. And my mom in 1980, she had got blessed with the Hawaiian homestead land on Moloka'i. So moved to Moloka'i when I was 5 years old. I got raised on Moloka'i until I graduated from Moloka'i High School and came here to go to school to University of Hawaii. I was one of the first students or first ever to have a music scholarship to go to University of Hawaii on Moloka'i. Sad to say that nowadays there's no music program, but I came here for that. And then during school, as a struggling college student, had a part-time job working at House of Music. where I met Jake, and I was downstairs curating or helping out Lydia Ludin do the Hawaiian music section and the world section downstairs, and he was upstairs doing the ukulele and instrument maintenance. And he used to collaborate with Sean Ishimoto, better known as BB Sean, a classic person that was very into, which I didn't know back then, but now is my cousin, Cruz, and the Kyle Creator Boys.
Wow.
And he would they would just jam upstairs, and he introduced me to Jon Yamasato to come and jam with them in some of their little sessions in Hawaii at his house.
Nice.
That turned into like, hey, Lopaka, you want to come and jam with us and create a group?
we had a percussionist at the time, which is my friend Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. But but he was just like, kind of just in the band because we hang out together, And then so one day we were like, oh, maybe Lopaka can come. Jake was like, maybe Lopaka can come in and teach Brandon some beats or something like that. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then Lopaka shows up and we start playing. I'm like, holy cow, this guy's good. Why do we have this guy? Can we get this guy in the band?
So Brandon's not your friend anymore.
No, Brandon is Brandon was super cool about it, like because he knew he wasn't, In fact, I'll tell these guys. So, but you remember Brandon, right?
Of course.
You know how so Brandon, he's one of my best friends, and he's like the super chill Hawaiian guy, and just like Brandon. So like last year or maybe the year before, I get a call on like Monday, and he lives in Florida now, and he's like, hey, John, what you doing Thursday? I'm like, I don't know, nothing, because it was like December, right? So it's Christmas time. He's like, yeah, getting married. You want to come to the wedding? And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's Brandon. He's just so chill and stuff. And I was like, okay, so yeah, I went to his wedding and stuff. But
like a week's notice.
yeah, not even though it's like 3 days notice, So that's how he is. But,
okay.
Yeah, but that's how Lopaka, because we were like, oh my gosh, if we could get Lopaka in the band, like and Lopaka was already playing professionally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
when we started.
Your dad or something was like
into
music, right? Yeah.
Opened up the doors. He was with Martin Denny and Arthur Lyman back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Yeah, right before statehood. In a genre of Hawaiian music, it's not really popularized nowadays, but called exotica. I think nowadays, he Martin Denny saw that he could do some natural bird and sound bird calls over some of these bossas and some Latin tunes that he had when he was performing in Waitiki during Hilton Hawaiian Village or Don Beachcomber or some other places. As a solo pianist, my dad was throwing papers during Waitiki, like a paperboy route, and then he heard him playing the piano. He was like, "Oh man, can I bring my bongos?" And my dad is, a lot of people think my dad is local Hawaiian, but he's actually 100% Puerto Rican, just the plantation era around here. But anyways, when he heard all of the Martin Denny playing his music, he, as a Puerto Rican, especially growing up Kalihi, he's like, oh my God, I gotta so he brought some of his bongos and starts playing with him. And Martin Denny's like, hey man, why don't you come back next week and bring something? And a little bit more spiffy, because he was in his clothes. He came back with more tight suit that's like ironed out, everything. And Martin Denny did a tune, and my dad just did a bird call just to, And then Martin Denny's like, oh my God, we gotta use that. They play to make a long story short, there's this song called Quiet Village, which made Exotica huge. And it was because of the significance of my father going back and forth with these bullfrogs at the Hilton Hawaiian Village or something. Every time Martin Denny would play this bass line, doo-doo, 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 then you hear, and then my dad would go, and all this kind of different stuff, and then he would go back and forth, and then Martin Denny was like, what's going on here? So then he was able to create this natural form into the composition, and the music created exotic music. So I was blessed to take some of that. I mean, when I met these guys during college, I was, University of Hawaii. It wasn't really into the radio because I was so into marching band stuff, land, all the jazz, everything. But then when I met these guys, it was a relief in an opposite musical level, because these guys were stoked just to jam and and I didn't know that they were into this band called Cog Creator Boys. And like I said, when he heard me playing some of my stuff, he was like, "Oh my God!" For me, it was a refresher to see guys that was in tunes and music, not in the way that I was serious in the other side of music, the college side, which made me want to get together with these guys more. So almost every Saturdays, I would go
Yeah.
to his house like from like swear to God, like maybe like 8 o'clock to 5 in the afternoon.
We
Working out parts.
practice all day.
Yeah. And then this guy had, the first time, he used to techie equipment back in the day. And the first person had a CD burner. You can record CDs.
Yeah. We make our own little demos.
Yeah.
You two gave me your CDs, and I'm just like, I don't know if my truck has a CD. I was thinking that. I was like, I'm thinking like, how am I gonna play this? I gotta find something.
Yeah, going back to Moloka'i, I was showing my friends over there. There was a trip, and I was like, oh, wow. They went to, at the time, Call of Curtis Boys. Well, he's not Call of Curtis Boys, yeah, but my friend, but listen to him on the ukulele. Oh, mean. But then later on,
That is Jake. Actually, these two guys are really good spear fishermen.
Oh, really?
If you didn't know, yeah, because Jake spends a lot of time on Moloka'i too, so they get
did
out
you?
there. Yeah.
Oh. Well, I guess we can segue into Jake. Where you from? Where you grad? What was it like? Do you mind bringing your mic closer?
Yeah, I was born and raised, in Honolulu, and my mom started teaching me when I was 4 years old. She played the ukulele, taught me a few chords. I just fell in love with it. A lot of my inspiration came from, Ota-san was probably my biggest inspiration for playing ukulele. He and Uncle Eddie Kamai. And then as I got older, of course, Peter Moon, right? Israel Kamako Viole, Royce Sakuma was my teacher, and then which later led to Kelly Boyd DeLima, Jesse Kalima, and then bringing it back to Troy Fernandez. I remember hearing the first time I heard Ka'au Creator Boys, I was actually on Moloka'i. I was visiting my grandparents, and remember back then there was the TV guide. Right?
Yeah, it just keeps
you would, and then they would
growing.
always have like all this local
Yeah.
music. And so I remember watching the TV guide, and then Tropical Hawaiian Day came on. And then I heard, I heard the singing, right? And then I heard the ukulele riff. And
Yeah.
I heard da na 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 da 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 da. I was like, whoa, what's that? I'd never heard anything like that. I was like, whoa, what is he doing? And so that was my first I guess introduction, to the Ka'au Creator Boys. Yeah, because then when I got back home, then I looked them up, and then I found out my former teacher Roy Sakuma was producing them and all that, right? But anyways, and then fast forward from that moment when I was in I went to Kaimuki High School, graduated 94, and but that's where I met Jon. Jon was at Kaiser, but we served together in student council. So Jon was a delegate at the Honolulu District Student Council board. He was one of the representatives from Kaiser, and so that's kind of where we met. And I heard that he had played music, and I'll never forget the first time we actually played together. We sat in your car in the Kaimuki High School parking lot, and you had your ukulele and I had my ukulele, and then I was like, oh, you should sing something, and you're like, oh, no, I don't really sing. And and I was like, well, I kind of know Brown Eyed Girl, the Ka'au Creator Boys version.
Yeah, that was.
So I was like, oh, okay, I just learned the solo or something like that. So we started playing that in the car, and I was like, dude, man, you can sing, remember? And you're like, I don't know, because you know how Jon is. Right? You're just like,
you guys are all so humble, by the way.
So fast forward, right? We started playing together with a few of Jon's friends that also played music, and at one point, our band was like 6 pieces, like a 6-piece band, right?
Yeah, we've had people come and go, and
because even Kama used to play with us. And
by the way, his kid and my kid are on the same baseball team now.
oh wow,
So Taz Vegas once.
Taz came in and sang with us.
Hanale, Natalie.
Oh
we had,
yeah, that's right.
Chad. We had
Thompson,
we had
yep.
so many, But
And
anyways,
this was Pure
and
Heart,
Gil.
or this is a different name?
and Gil. That's right, Gil
Okay.
played bass.
Yeah, people
with
kind of
us.
came and went, and for one reason or another, just never stuck. But the three of us were always kind of there.
Yeah. It's so interesting that Ka'au Creator Boys all influenced you separately, and it was kind of also, what brought you together, or like what you bonded over as well, right?
Yeah.
Because for Ka'au Creator Boys, for me, hearing their percussionists throwing certain world rhythms over Hawaiian music.
That was Uncle
That
Jon,
was
right?
first
Jon
for me.
Porless.
Yeah,
No,
Jon
the,
Porless, Mike Muldoon.
Mike Muldoon,
yeah,
Mike
yeah.
Muldoon.
He was also Israel's percussionist. And he was
That's right.
Inspiration in a certain sense. I mean, along with my father, as far as this modern world.
Yeah.
Well, the first Kyle Crater Boys album, Uncle Mike played.
It's all Mike. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think the first two,
Oh.
and then John came in.
And then John came after.
He was mentoring John before.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, Mike Muldoon is a legend.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you hear the interaction, because in my Puerto Rican world, the cuatro is kind of similar to the ukulele. You're hearing, but then when you hear people take the ukulele and put it into a certain level, you're like, oh my God, okay. It's like how this guy took the ukulele.
Totally. Yeah.
You're like, what? Like, okay, that makes me want to okay, let's feed. And that's the whole thing too, like feeding off of each other's vibes. And he's such a sponge too. And when I would come in and bring something to showcase, and then he'll get it like, oh wow, like a couple of days later, it's like, oh shoot. And next thing you know, he's putting it into like his own mix, like Matrix style. And then John too, it's amazing how these guys catch really fast into like showing them something.
Yeah.
The synergy was just there from the start, huh?
Well, one of the things I think John was gonna say too is like when Lopaka first came, to our jam session, John and I were just so blown away because I think the first song we played together was Hene Hene Koaka. Right?
Yeah.
It was like Israel Kamaka Vivole's version,
Yeah,
right?
dum,
So we
dum,
started
dum,
playing
dum.
that, and then Lopaka's listening. He goes, "Oh yeah," and then he grabs what's that called? The gyro or the
The one that goes.
yeah, the
Oh, yeah,
one
that Guido?
the
Guido,
Guido,
Guido.
Guido. And then he's like, he picks this thing up, and we're just playing, watching him. He picks this thing up with his little stick. He goes, and he starts like playing, and then John and I are just like, oh, what? He's just, it was so cool. And but at the time, right? I mean, Lopaka was like he had already recorded with Robert Kikaula. He had already been he was already playing in the studio. He was already performing live. He was.
In my little conversation.
Yeah, I mean, no, so he was already established, right?
So you
and
were in
playing.
college and when you were still in high school. You two were still in high school, and then you guys all
Yes.
met after you guys
Yeah.
graduated.
When I was
Yeah.
19, that was my first actually professional recording. 19, having a call from Robert Kikaula to go and help him out with an album called Kanaka Attack. And then after that, I went on the road with cousin John Cruz, Willie K, and Harold Common Jr. Backing him up.
That's
right. Guitar. And this is like 2 or 3 years before I met these guys.
So he was already like established. So John and I are just like, I don't think you would play with us.
Yeah,
I
didn't think like, because I don't know how Jake feels about it, but I always felt like a little bit of a fish out of water because we're doing local like Hawaiian music, and here are two
Asian
fully
boys.
Japanese guys that are in student council, doing it. But yeah,
Singing Hene Hene Koaka.
so Lopaka's really chill, just wanted to jam and stuff.
Oh, and listen, these guys, their character and their vibe when they came across to me about doing music was very different from other people approaching me to do stuff. And I was like, wow, like they had the eager desire and assertiveness to like work on something. And I come from that mentality too. I guess I don't know what you call it militant, but even though I learned a lot in marching band at the University of Hawaii about discipline, about certain things in the music, and if you're going to work on something, especially during halftime shows at the UH football games, at the rhythm section, we need to memorize our stuff compared to everybody else, and we need to know our footsteps on not just that and everything, and so. I guess I took some of that, and that adapted to what I do professionally. And when I meet guys that really want to work on something, then I try to put that hat and okay, let's do that. And to me, it's like where the magic is. Working with people that want to like create something fresh and new, like
Yeah.
I always tell to people, man, back in the day, you could have got us to play 4 or 5 hours at your party for, just dinner.
2 plate lunches.
We would just sit there and play like for hours and hours just for.
I think like that is that not many people want to they want, but like the hours that or just like this. I don't know if it's the same or not. Like this generation compared to the 20-year-olds compared to our generation as far as the work ethic of putting in. I don't know sure if it's the same or not, but that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it makes sense with how successful you guys are, is how many hours you put to get, they have the 10,000 hour saying where, you know, you've got to practice for 10,000 hours to become a master, and you guys put in the time. I think with social media and other distractions these days, people probably don't practice as much. I think they rely more on talent than hard work, whereas, you know, back in the days was a lot more hard work beat out talent.
Yeah, we had 100 songs before. I mean,
Yeah.
to choose from before we recorded our first
Album.
set list. Yeah, to choose from. Right. It was crazy. Like, oh, which one we gonna do? Okay.
Yeah, Lopaka was, you know, I mean, he just was so creative. I mean, he would throw ideas out there, and John and I would just be like, you're like,
I don't
okay, how do we?
don't cut yourself
know,
short
but he
either.
was-
like you came up with some pretty good
No,
stuff.
no,
Like
yeah, but
Yeah.
What was going on?
like I always felt like the band was like, so my role was just to keep my part simple, because we have two very dynamic players playing, right? So we can't have everybody going crazy, right? And then so if I keep it simple, then I would just watch these two geniuses go off and like, oh, you're playing the pat 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 pat. Well, I'm gonna play a ding a ding a ding a ding. Okay, we'll try it, and we do it again. But oh, you know what? Instead of a pat pat pat, I'm gonna go pat 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 pat, and then okay, I'm gonna do a ding a ding ding ding, and then okay, and that's like go on for hours like that, you know. And I just like okay, and I'm just playing the same thing the whole 3 hours, you know, like yeah. But that's how our practices would go.
Wow, that's so.
But it was fun to watch those two. So I wouldn't. I'd say Jake, can you come up with some good stuff too? Like I mean, yeah, like,
With Toccata in D minor.
right, yeah.
It would be so cool just to be a fly on the wall during those like early, you know, jam sesh.
No, they were so much fun. Like time would just fly by. You know, like Lopaka would say, you know, I mean, we would all go to John's house in the morning and we'd be like, oh, let's just get together for a couple hours. And then it would turn into, you know, like we would be there all night. And then I would always feel bad. Like looking back now, I mean, your parents were so awesome because, you know, because we'd come over in the morning, you know, your mom would always have something for us to eat, right? And then we'd still be practicing. And at lunchtime, she'd be like, you guys got to eat. So she'd cook for us, right? And then we'd still be practicing at night. So she'd be like, well, I guess you guys are staying for dinner.
Guess we're going to get pizza.
Right?
Yeah.
That's right. That would have been something.
Yeah, so-
we create our own live audience based on that. People would come over.
Though it was that.
Our own live audience back then. After a while, we'd come over just to watch us rehearse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People start coming in and out of the house.
Yeah.
But the time just flew by. I mean, it was just so much fun, and you know, yeah. And then you know, we had similar interests in music, but then we also had our own, like you know, like John introduced me to like bands like you know, like Dave Matthews. I remember that Dave Matthews, Tim Reynolds.
CD.
Like that was so inspiring for me when he turned me on to that. He would bring James Taylor tunes, you know, to the table, and all kinds of great like
And
singer
Lopaka would have all this
stuff.
like percussive, like Latin jazz stuff. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he liked rock. So he liked
Yeah,
Santana
I
stuff.
always
and,
loved like kind of I gravitated more toward like like the
although
guitar stuff.
I still like Dancehall Crashers because of you.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, I love Dancehall Crashers.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
He's too young. He didn't even know who Dancehall Crashers is probably.
I've heard of Santana before. I know you told the story of the inception of Pure Heart and how you guys met and how you guys got together again, but I recently watched one of the your performances at I think it's the Hawaii Theater, and you kind of shared it, and it was so funny, especially the part about. I mean, it wasn't funny about you getting dumped, but the part where you ended up going with Jake to the stuff.
That's in the thing?
That's in
I don't
the
even remember
live show.
talking
Yeah.
about that. Oh my god.
I was watching it before I came here. So, do you mind just? It doesn't have to be the long version. You can just share the Spark Notes version. But I thought it was so funny. You gotta share it.
Yeah. So that was before Lopaka. So yeah. So I was a sophomore in high school, and we had our freshman sophomore banquet.
I think it was something.
yeah,
it was a
and
banquet. Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do like a talent show this year." So it's like, "Oh, okay." So I was like, "Oh, maybe I can play." But I was thinking about it, but I had a date, right? I'm a girlfriend at the time, and then like 3 days before, she dumped me, and I was like, "What the hell am I gonna do?" Like, yeah. So I called Jake. I'm like, "Hey, you want to enter this talent thing at my banquet?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay." So yeah, he was my date for my sophomore banquet, and then we played Brown Eyed Girl and what's the fast one you do? The Just Press.
Just press.
And then the whole night everyone's dancing and stuff, and he and I are just in the corner like playing our ukuleles, like just hanging out, Yeah,
so he was your
my date.
rebound as well.
Yeah,
That's
so Jake was one of my dates for my. Yeah. what? Yeah, and you only get 4 chances, right? High school. So
after that year, did you end up going with anybody not named Jake Shimabukuro?
yeah. I went. Junior, senior, I had friends that I went with, but yeah, it is. Yeah, my love life is pretty sad.
Well, you're married now.
I'm married
You're
now.
married
So
now,
yeah,
yeah.
it worked out. It worked out right. But high school was not good. That didn't go well. Which is why I played music in the first place.
Well,
like-
yeah. What was it to like? So
was like-
you seem
Well,
cooler,
okay.
or what
No,
was
okay,
like the...
okay. You're a 13-year-old kid. You're interested in girls, right? And look at me. I'm not gonna be a athlete, right? And girls
Not
like,
with that attitude.
So I'm like, I got to do something, right, to like stand out or whatever. So I'm like, okay, well maybe this music thing will work out. So that was the idea.
Okay. Well, how did you know you
And
could sing?
Well, that was just like, we'd all take turns, right? Like my friend, this is before I met Jake and stuff, but it's just all my buddies at school would just take turns singing. And after a while, it's just like, hey, John, why don't you sing one more? Do another song or whatever. So you just it's just kind of naturally. But I never really thought I could sing, but
Eventually, people were like,
eventually
"You're actually
enough
pretty
people
good."
tell you sound
Yeah.
okay. You're like, okay, maybe I'm not that bad.
Okay, so also when I was watching that video, you mentioned the story of how you met, and then you brought up this picture that I want to share on the podcast as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see it on the.
So Jake, man,
So this is the guy you're talking about that went to senior or the sophomore banquet.
That's right.
And went on the talent show.
That's right about that time. Because what year is that? 94.
Does it say 94?
Yeah, 94.
I've seen.
Yeah.
The craziest part is that Jake looks older in this.
He
and
does,
this was
right?
20 years ago.
That's
In
what
this
I'm
picture,
saying.
he looks older.
He's got the mustache.
He's
and-
reversing in
Say,
age.
come on, boy, let's go.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like.
Come on, you telling me this guy couldn't get girls? He got the tank top.
And
Oh man.
and
Oh
don't,
my goodness.
and Jake in high school, he was, he's like the nicest guy now, but Jake had a he had a tough guy.
Yeah,
He had
yeah.
a tough guy mode.
I didn't know you could grow facial hair. I've never seen you with facial hair before.
I shaved it once, it never grew back.
That was your biggest
That was, from,
mistake.
that was from 0 to 18. You do that.
I had one chance. And I blew it. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, the fact that you guys, got together 20 years ago or so, and then you're still together just shows like
30
years ago.
Wow.
30. Oh, yeah, in the 90s. Yeah.
90s, yeah.
In the 90s, 30 years ago, and you're still together, and it just shows the longevity, but also your relationship. And I can see, just having a conversation with you, how close you guys are.
There's actually cassettes up here.
Yeah.
Cassettes. Wow.
Yeah,
we
we
had
have like some
cassette
shows
tapes.
and yeah. Oh, you're talking about the album. Yeah,
Yeah,
I posted. I have one, so I posted on Instagram.
Nowadays,
I'm like, you're not legit until you had your own cassettes.
What was that the catalyst where you guys were like, wow, this is a real thing. We have a cassette. We're legit.
Well, no. I'll let those guys answer for them. But for me was when it came on the radio.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought the CD would come out, no one would listen to it, and then we'd all go on with our lives or whatever. But then once it was on the radio, I'm like, oh, this actually on the. Because back then radio was a big deal. Not,
It was like how podcasts.
Yeah. Like it's like once you made it on the radio, you're like, oh man, this is something now. But yeah, so until then, I was just like, this is just a fun thing. Like,
Did you guys have other jobs in between all of this, or did you
yeah.
all just go into music?
Oh, you worked at Foodland,
Yep, that's right. Yep.
House of Music.
Yeah, House of Music.
And that's how you guys met.
Yeah.
Because I worked there for about 5 years.
Yeah.
With
I used to be a
MTV,
waiter at the ballroom.
Oh, okay.
House of Music.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Mostly
Oh,
music
Sam,
stores.
yeah,
Mostly
Milsey Music.
stores at
Uh-huh.
Foodland.
What was the first song you guys wrote together? That was when
We don't really write
went on
too
the
many
radio?
songs. It's mostly the instrumental stuff.
You came into my life.
Oh yeah, Jake wrote "You Came Into My Life," and then what? There's a bunch of instrumental. Oh, Ka'ai, we wrote together, and then yeah.
After winter.
Yeah. It's mostly the instrumental stuff. I'm not, it's one of those things like back in those days too, there was no internet, right? And I'm not much of a like, I've been working like with Alex Kawakami nowadays and some other Blaina Singh and stuff like where we co-op because melodies I'm okay with, but I'm just not good with words, as you can tell by this podcast. And so like I had a really hard time writing stuff, you know. So a lot of our arrangements are just arrangements of other songs that we kind of just mesh
Tweak a little
together.
bit, yeah.
But I didn't have this network that you have now on the internet and writing and stuff like that. So I didn't do a lot of writing back.
So how did you get the lyrics? You just would listen over and over, like and then
so some of our lyrics is wrong. 'Cause, you know, there's no like going on YouTube and checking.
Yeah,
or, you know,
because
whatever.
you would have to wait till it comes on the radio if you didn't have a CD or cassette, and then you just have to try to like write it down or
How
something.
can I get over?
Yeah. So how can I go to an interesting story? Because he invited me to a party at his
My housewarming party.
Oh yeah, housewarming party. Yeah, up in what was that? Is that Hanohano or Mount Willie? Yeah. And then his cousin was there, and then you just all play, you know, talking story, eating and stuff, and then playing, just jamming. And his cousin played that song, and I was like, "Oh, did you write that song?" And he's like, "Oh no, it's a reggae, you know, reggae." But he didn't know who sang it. He didn't know the title of it. And so I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I, you know, in my brain, I just wrote it down, like mentally wrote it down, and then I went to Tower Records, and there's this guy Rick that used to work at Tower Records that I befriended because I would buy CDs every time I got a paycheck, I'd buy CDs and I'd be listening for songs and stuff. And I'm like, hey, there's this reggae song, and here are the lyrics, and we're like looking through the lyrics. Okay, how can I go? And he's just like, okay, and he searching his CD database that's not online, right? And then it's just like he's ordering reggae CDs like from whatever until we found that song. I just kept buying CDs and then like, no, that's not it. That's not it. And I got this is the song.
Wow, it's like how people buy Pokemon cards trying to get the Charizard. You just kept buying CDs and CDs.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd go every week and I would just stand in the listening station. I'd buy a new thing and I'd listen to it in my car that week, and I'd play songs like, okay, this is maybe a good arrangement for us or whatever. And then we would get our practice and we'd try it out, and some songs worked, some songs didn't.
And we're thinking like, you know, we need a major hook for this, and that's where this guy comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Putting on that flavor. Once you put that hook flavor, I couldn't believe. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
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 Dang. And
So
then
as far as the creation of the song.
yeah. And then so that process just kept repeating. You guys had your first album, a couple hit songs, 5 Hoku Hanohano awards later. And then at the peak of Pure Heart. Oh, sorry. Before we get into that, how did you come up with the name Pure Heart?
That's him and my dad.
We were driving. We had just taken the school street cutoff, I remember, where we came up with that name. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even know that till now. But
Oh, really? You're just like, yeah, sure, whatever.
I mean, it was more your dad because, you know, he kept saying those two words over. You know, you guys play with a lot of heart, and you guys are so pure.
We did what every band does, which is we went, Lopaka Colón, like, okay, you know what, we just use it for now and until we can come up with something better. And the next thing you know, that's the name.
You never came up with it.
Yeah, and that's it.
and people were in the beginning mistaking us for a church organization.
Yeah. I went to a comedy show, and then the comedian recognized me at one point, and he just went off about Christian music, and you know, and I'm like, we're not a Christian band, you know. Like after a while, he's like, oh, okay, and then he went into something else or whatever. Yeah. So we got a lot of that in the beginning. But
That's funny.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's a great name, Pure Heart, and you know.
Before the YouTube era.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Classic.
1999. That's when is that when you guys
98, the first album came
98?
out.
Okay.
Then the second album came out.
97, right?
Well, we recorded it in 97.
Oh, okay.
But then, you know, back in those days, like I don't know why we put so much thought into it, but it's like, okay, we don't want to release it at this date because this other album's coming out, and you know the Hoku deadline is this date, and you know so we ended up releasing February of 1998. But we finished in like September of 97. So imagine you do your first album and you gotta wait like 6 months to release it, and you're just sitting there like, oh man.
Yeah.
I had the timeline so long in my head.
Hoku Night, we
Yeah.
released Pure Heart number 2.
Yeah, and then like the Hoku Night, we released the next one. Yeah.
Okay.
So did those awards and just like the success of Pure Heart, did that really help all of your individual careers as well?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Totally.
guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as the local artists musically, yeah.
I mean, you had that, you know, that resume that you could like.
Oh, okay. So for my experience, I don't know if it's for you guys, but the next day afterwards, when I'm at the gas station, putting gas Like it's like in the advertiser front page, and people are like looking at me, looking at like okay, yeah. And then that was the beginning, and then the whole day after, like people would recognize, it's like holy crap, like wow,
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much.
Yeah, I got kind of crazy because like that week after we played at like Hawaii Town Center or something, we had to do some kind of gig, and then that whole place was just packed, like standing room, and like
right.
I was like, whoa, what the heck is going on? Like, just
And then we threw off Hapa too, because I mean we did a thing with Hapa, Thanksgiving thing at Blaisdell Center. I forgot, and we were.
I don't remember that.
Hapa was right after us.
yeah,
And it was right when we won the Hokus and everything, and they were on stage getting ready to perform, and we were on the side doing meet and greet.
oh, that's right, I remember that. Just yeah.
We were so I don't know if they were irritated or not, but our meet and greet lasted their entire performance on stage.
Yeah.
While we're, they're getting off the stage, and we're still signing meet and greet
Yeah.
at the time period. When
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
it was-
Yeah.
Because again, no social media,
Yeah.
no not like everyone just watched the Hokus because like that was the thing on TV that night, and it was in the paper the next day. So you just kind of.
Of course, explain it to our children.
I try to tell my kids. Well, I don't say nothing to my kids, but my friends try to tell my kids that
Like how
stuff,
cool
and-
you were.
and they're
I
like,
promise, I was really
they,
cool.
they have no idea. They have no idea.
They're like, oh my God.
You're like, this
Yeah,
guy?
yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So funny.
yeah.
Well, now that you're on this podcast and you can show
Yeah,
them how cool you are.
I can say, yeah, I made it.
Yeah. Take that, Hokus. So, so what did you guys individually do after you guys stopped doing Pure Heart for a little bit?
Well, we all know he like took over the world.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I never heard of him before.
Yeah.
Oh, before he took over the world, I know you had a solo project, right?
I did. Yeah, I did record my own. That's right. I did do something by myself.
You were collaborating with Justin Young.
Yeah, I was working with Justin Young.
When he was
who
still
did- yeah.
Justin Young, not Justin Kavika Young.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So I was and then I got into production. Like I just like being after the whole thing. I'm like, I really just like being in my own little space, and that's like the impetus of High Sessions too. Like I like being a little bit more behind the scenes versus up in front. Like these guys are really showmen, and that's where they belong. But I don't know. For me, I just so
Which
I
is
was
funny
just
because you're like the one that sings and is the
yeah. It's
Face
kind of weird. I was
Yeah, and then the trippy weird story is a brief stint that happened, but after that, my father wanted me and Jake to just continue a little bit. So we formed this group. Actually, we want Hokus as well. But it was just a real like short stint. It was like less than 2 years. I realized it was less than 2 years. But we tried to do as much as we could at the 2 year period. We named the band Colón, and we had my cousin Guy Cruz come in.
Oh, okay.
John Cruz's younger brother come in, and then we had a bass player named Andrew McLellan, and then we were doing that for about a year and a half, and then September 11th came.
Oh.
Wow.
And
I was third grade, I think.
That changed the paradigm of our business.
Wow.
Yeah.
It took the
Oh yeah. So yeah, I was also playing with Dennis Kamakahi back then. I was just playing bass for him.
Yeah. We
And so yeah, we were traveling a lot. Yeah, and that changed a lot.
Yeah. We were on a break of breaking to major record labels on the mainland and going on tours, and that got canceled.
That's crazy.
And that was kind of took the wind out of my cousin's sail.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but he was like, so we were like, sure, let's. He wanted to do his own thing. And then Jake also had people that was looking at his own solo business side too. So maybe it was at that, I guess, a time period where kind of went a certain direction.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's when I got. That's when I got picked up by Henry Capono at that time period, and I had been part of Henry Capono's world, and then that led to other outdoors and avenues in my particular world.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah. What have you been up to, Jake?
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah. I mean,
But that's what happened. And then,
Okay,
Maybe
cool.
led
Yeah,
to-
thanks for the time in
Yeah,
this.
boom, right?
Yeah.
No, I just.
after
Yeah.
that happened, then
Yeah.
Well, I mean, going back to like what you said, like how like the Pure Heart experience, like I mean, I know for sure I wouldn't be, where I am today or the musician I am today if it weren't for these two guys, and it was just such a beautiful experience, because it was so like organic and so natural. Like we were just having fun and just making music. And I think even when we were doing it, I don't know about because Lopaka was already established before he met us, but but for John and I, right? I think we were just like we were doing this, but even when we were doing it, even after the first album and all that, I don't think we were thinking that this was going to be a career, right? I mean, we were just having so much fun, and I mean, John was still like getting his college degree. He was
still at
in
UH, yeah,
college,
studying and all that
right?
stuff.
And we were, and that's why, like, so for me, when we disbanded, I remember the first thing I did was I opened up an ukulele school.
Yep.
Yeah, because I thought that would be the end of my performing, experiences and all that. So, and I love, working with people and introducing music to people. So I thought, oh man, a school would be a lot of fun, So that's what I did afterwards, right? And and that lasted for about a year and a half, maybe, because then we started doing the band that and we named it Colón as a tribute to Lopaka's dad, and who really kind of mentored the three of us, when we were playing together. And then
then you went viral and became the greatest ukulele player of all time.
then
And then he went to New York.
I was
I mean,
I was
I'm
just
like talking for him now.
Yeah, he was agent, PR agent.
no, just lucky in the right place at the right time and
With the right talent.
But it's one of those things like, when you're young, you have the ups and the downs and everything's so uncertain and you're so worried. But then you look back on things and you're like, oh, this all happened for kind of, it all works out in the long run. You find your way and things work itself out. And yeah.
No, it's so beautiful how everything happened from the beginning, from just like all these things had to happen for this to happen,
Yeah,
if
right.
Crater Boys never happened, then you wouldn't have seen them on TV and you wouldn't have been inspired. You wouldn't have, been inspired by them, you two, just listening to them.
I'd be playing death metal.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you also got into real estate as well, yeah?
Yeah.
So you sell houses. So did you give them free houses or what?
Well,
Has he given you guys houses?
If I could create free houses, then I'd have my own free house too, But
well, I mean, no, if it's like a $1.7 million house, just give it to them for like $7 or something. They're your friends, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I just fell into that, as a side thing. But it's great because it allows me to still do the music stuff, and on the side, my schedule's flexible, sort of. I'm probably gonna have like 18 messages after I get out of the podcast, but but I can do it after the podcast.
Yeah, totally.
So that's been good.
Okay, cool. Well, you had something to say?
Oh no, well, I was just gonna say, I think John, because he also got into producing a lot of bands, right? Like Kiai and did a lot of like producing and even arranging and songwriting afterwards. But I think that was always like his gift. And even when we would play as Pure Heart, he was always the one that he had the ear and the sense to know if something would work or something didn't. So sometimes Lopaka might get excited about something, and John would just be like, let's leave that part out. I like this, but I think we should just go to this, and then when we listen back, it's like, oh yeah, John was totally right. I mean, this totally went off. I don't know, but that's just kind of like, because I don't know, we just feed off of,
more structure and,
yeah.
You guys all just complemented each other very well.
But which is great. Like I think that's why John had so much success in later, like producing other bands and then also producing, his own, the high session shows.
That's great.
His own like he just has a knack for just understanding like what translates and what I think, like gets people, right? Gets people engaged and excited. So, so looking back too, no, but seriously, so looking back, at those times, you realize like, oh yeah, it's a good thing we listened to John.
Well, that's awesome. Speaking of, producing and structuring stuff, let's take a quick shishi break and we'll come back and you can produce the set for a little performance by Pure Heart. How about that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll be right back. What if we told you the next 3 times you fill your tank, you could save money? Well, at Texaco in Hawaii, it's true. You can get $1 off per gallon on your next 3 visits when you download the Texaco app and join Texaco Rewards. Earn points on every fuel transaction and qualifying in-store purchases at participating Texaco stations. Download the app and join to get started today. Visit TexacoHawaii.com for details.
This is a song, an original song. No, I'm just kidding. We just did Kelly Boy yesterday. This song is called "How Can I Get Over," and it goes a little something like this. Standing on the side of hell, looking down the side of heaven. How can I get over? Trying so hard to move my feet, oh, but it seems I'm sinking deeper. How can I get over? I wanna know, I wanna know, oh, na na na. How can I get over? Living all my life in sin, I don't know where righteousness will come in. How can I get over? Now that I can't wait no longer, living hard in pain and hunger. How can I get over? I wanna know, I wanna know, oh, na na na. How can I get over? I wanna know, I wanna know, oh, na na na. How can I get over? Living all my life in sin, I don't know where righteousness will come in. How can I get over? Now that I can't wait no longer, living hard in pain and hunger. How can I get over? I wanna know, I wanna know, oh, na na na. How can I get over? I wanna know, I wanna know, oh, na na na. How can I get over? Na na na. How can I get over? Na na na. How can I get over?
All right, we're back from a quick shishi break. Mahalo for the for the awesome
I didn't know
performance.
that's what it
from
was
your
called,
heart.
the sushi break.
Shishi break, yeah. That's what
all right.
it's called, yeah. I think your mic's still kind of low. I don't know if you want to adjust that. There you go. Yeah, you get him.
Yeah, your voice is not that low.
Oh, that was so cool. You guys are so talented. You know when you're playing the percussions, is it the same every time, or do you do different things?
There's I guess the way how I play nowadays, because I know certain techniques make it look like effortless. That's what one of my friends said. But there is a certain rhyme and rhythm to what I'm doing. There's certain techniques that I'm doing. That there's certain parts.
But no,
yeah,
he's
as
not
far as-
doing the same thing, and neither is he, because we did this TV special once.
Oh, you're talking about like that? You mean as far as like different?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
every
Okay,
song you have
I
like
gotcha.
different things you add, maybe an extra
Right.
hit.
I mean,
or
every
like
song has a
like
different, unique percussion
So,
feel.
so yeah, it was during COVID. We did some kind of when things started reopening up. We did this like TV thing, and they shot the same song 6 times, right? With the idea that they're gonna splice everything, all the different shots together, and then I knew the producer, and after a while he called. He said, "Brad, John, we're having such a hard time with you guys because Lopaka and Jake, they play different every time, every take is." I'm like, yes, they don't ever play the same. It's never the same exact licks, you know, like throughout the whole thing. Yeah, so they had to like figure out where like it was kind of the same and put it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Grateful Dead of Hawaii. That's
Yeah. You, it'll never be exactly the same. But, yeah.
Was that Ruben? Were you talking to Ruben and Dirk?
No, I was
Or
talking
was
to
that
Dirk.
Oh yeah, Dirk. Yeah.
But they got it. They figured it out.
Yeah.
No, it's so cool, and like that's such a classic song, and your voice is so unique. Like once I hear that, it's like, yeah, that's John. All right, let's get into the social media fan questions. First one comes from local.girl808. This person says, will they perform again?
Yes.
What's coming up?
Yeah, we got some some possible Blue Note shows coming up, and we're still waiting to hear from Lopaka if he's available. No. not to put you on. John and I are available already.
So you gonna play or not, Lopaka?
Right.
People want to know.
Right, exactly.
We would actually do more shows if the schedules would allow it.
Yeah.
But he's gone like, 2/3 of the year, and so we just. But yeah,
So
I mean, when things come up,
It's
we're
work in
there.
progress in that part.
You're always open to it.
Right,
As long
exactly.
as the time works out.
And these two guys are busy too, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I shouldn't put all the blame on
they're-
Jake. I mean, sometimes it is.
It's all Jake's fault.
It is Lopaka and I too. Like,
Yeah.
there's sometimes
You guys
I'm
are
gone or
busy.
whatever.
I mean, should we talk about what we were working on or not really?
We can. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are. I have my own thoughts on stuff, but
No, you should share whatever you want. This is your
Oh,
episode.
the album.
Well, don't we?
Yeah.
So we.
yeah, you can. Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll start and then you guys can.
Oh, okay. Let me
Okay.
ask the question though, because
Oh, yeah,
this is
go
a
ahead.
question from one of the our fans. Lucky I live Hawaii. Shout out to Neil. He actually brought me to a show, a Blue Note show. That's when I first saw you play.
Oh, nice.
This guy was a fan of the podcast and me, and he offered to get me a Kamaku ukulele. And I was like, no, you can't give me a Kamaku ukulele. That's like way too expensive. Even though they named it after me, that's a whole other story. So he's like, oh yeah, let me take you, and I forget who I went with, but yeah, I met him at the Blue Note, and we went to your show because he's a big fan of you.
Oh, wow,
Yeah, so
thank
shout out to
you.
Neil.
Yeah, thank you, Neil.
Neil's question is, do you guys have plans to make another album?
Oh, there you go. Okay, so yeah, the beginning of COVID, we decided to meet and see like if we could do something. So we decided to go back in the studio and with the help of Mike Grande and who else? Just Mike and Sean,
just
or-
Mike right
or
now.
Okay, and then going to studios. And at that time period, we had a lot of time to work on stuff, and so we decided to collaborate and do things. It's taken a while, but we're in the process of hopefully finishing that. But then I'm not sure if you want to interject on that.
Yeah. So here's my analytical brain going on. So we started this in 2020, right? We have about 6 songs that are done, like ready to go. But I don't know how this music thing works now because it's like, okay. So first of all, the songs, in my opinion, are fine. They're okay, but I don't feel like we have a cohesive album yet with all the parts completely fit together and stuff. And so I remember like thinking back in the day, like I'd get irritated with Ernie Cruz Jr. because he'd go like a decade and a half without releasing a CD, and I'm just like, man, I want to hear your music so bad, we just released, and then it would take from forever, and why does it take these guys forever? But now I get it because I'm on the other side, and it just doesn't feel completely but at the same time, I do acknowledge that there are people that probably want to hear this stuff, so I do want to kind of try to release it somewhere. But then, what do? You can't put out an EP CD. I mean, I guess you could, But like,
It's all streams
do
now,
I just?
yeah.
We don't have our own Spotify. I mean, I guess you could release on Spotify.
Wait, you guys aren't on Spotify? So whatever the
mean-
Pure Heart band is, that's not you guys?
Well, we have a like a greatest hits album that we released on Spotify or whatever. So maybe I just throw that on there. Like, I don't know what to do with it. Is it basically because I feel like it's not a product yet that's like, oh, this is our new album and we're gonna go. You know, it's like it's a bunch of decent songs. Like, don't get me wrong, you know, but I don't think we haven't really had time to cohesively put together a bunch of like, these are all things that like we all thought, okay, these songs sound kind of cool, and then we all went into the studio and some we did together, some was like people came in separately and stuff. And so yeah, we will release the stuff we have, because I think people should want to hear it and should hear it and stuff like that. But yeah, so I don't know how to do it. I mean, we could just keep recording song after song after and just release little singles and stuff. But then I don't know what that accomplishes either.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
The business has changed a lot.
It's so
nowadays.
it's so
changed, yeah.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
music business.
I've heard of different artists like they release like one song at a time instead of like a full album now. Or I know sometimes they just like dropped everything. I hear all kind of different things, and streams are
It's dying out,
basically
something
what
like that. But I mean, it's
people do,
probably
yeah.
what is dying or something. There's a new, but learning these new avenues or the curves.
Yeah.
Learning,
Because I mean, realistically, we do not have time as a unit, the three of us, to sit and do 6-hour practices and come up with ideas and stuff anymore. You know, like, so I don't know.
just leave your kids at school, pick them up the next morning, and then you guys can work for 6 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, to be savvy nowadays, and maybe make it open source where we have the fans dictate our next album or something.
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
you
we
know,
could do something like
You have
that.
Patreon.
Well,
you guys have Patreon.
Yeah, we have Patreon. And then also, like, I'm
Heart
learning a
open
lot from
source.
Justin, Kavika Young, because you know, they're doing the Seven Sons stuff now,
Yeah.
right? And all of them are doing remote. You know, like they come up with an idea, they send it remote. The guy works on it. They send it back. They're collaborating that way. So maybe that's something that we could do too.
Yeah, well, this is really exciting, and I hope you guys, you know, finish it and get it out to us so we can get.
We're just
working
missing
hard.
one ukulele part.
Oh. I can play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star if you guys want me to. Let me know. I'll connect you with my manager, Josh.
Okay.
Yeah, John wrote some beautiful songs for this project.
Oh, okay. Well, excited to hear.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from our Patreon member, Jerry Salamonte. He leaves a
Jerry!
question for all of you. He says, Jon Yamasato, if you could rid your life of feral cats in exchange for playing Fortnite again for your entire lifetime, would you give up Fortnite?
That's a good question. You know, not to brag or anything, but last night we had 6 wins.
Hey.
We had a 5-in-a-row streak on Fortnite.
Jake's
I would
like,
not- I
he
would
still
not-
doesn't know what Fortnite is.
Jake has no idea what we're talking about. So on my podcast, I talk a lot about feral cats. How I'm not a fan of people who feed feral cats. Feral cats are, in itself is whatever. And then I enjoy Fortnite. I would not give up Fortnite. I'd rather have the feral cats. I can live with feral cats.
You can't live without
I
Fortnite.
can't live without Fortnite.
There you go. Okay, next question for Lopaka Colón. You are the hardest working drummer in show business because you're consistently gigging, collaborating with musical legends and upcoming artists. Who is your bucket list collaboration, both deceased and alive? With all your formal training in percussion, jazz, Afro-Cuban, etc., what is your favorite genre of music to play? So I guess there's 2 questions. So bucket list collaboration and favorite
that's a good
genre
question.
music to play.
right.
No, this guy was so excited to see you guys coming on the podcast. He's a huge fan.
Well, I guess you know, through Henry Capono, blessed him to have me part of his I guess world, his music world, opened up certain doors, meeting certain people, and through that scene and I guess in the corporate music scene here in Hawaii during certain gigs, I earned a lot of respect by collaborating with Mick Fleetwood and Michael McDonald through Henry at certain corporate gigs when they would come to Hawaii and do certain functions, and I guess seeing the work ethic and getting involved. Next thing I know, as far as collaborations, Mick Fleetwood. to emphasize a little bit on him, when he made the move to come to Hawaii and make Hawaii his home in Maui, he decided to create a show band to represent a little bit of what he does with old Fleetwood Mac, but then to represent certain island artists and to have like a fusion. So he created this group called the Island Mick Fleetwood's Island Rumor Band. This was back in 2008. We had Raiatea Helm, Willie Kay, Eric Gilliam, Gretchen Rhodes, one of his players from back in the 80s from the original Fleetwood Mac, Rick Avito. And we had Willie Kay's as a side tech drummer, Thomas. But anyways, that was the group that we had back in the day, and we kind of went around and did kind of showcasing that kind of world that Mick wanted to showcase here in Hawaii, collaborating some of his rock music with island musicians. And one of the big things that we did as far as on that level, as far as one of my highlights, was to have the fortunate opportunity, I'm not sure if they're going to bring it around again, but to perform, believe it or not, in Diamond Head Crater Festival back in 2009 or something, 2010. Yeah, you hear about the 70s and 80s back in Hawaii having all these huge crater festivals, but believe it or not, they brought it back in mid 2000 era. They had Santana's old keyboardist Greg Raleigh band, Earth, Wind and Fire, Mick Fleetwood's band. So that was like one of my highlights as far as that is concerned.
So do you even have a bucket list of who you want to collaborate with? You've already collaborated with so many awesome people.
Locally or just
anybody?
Oh my
Alive
God.
or dead?
Well, that's oh my God. Well, there's
Too many.
Well, of course, I would have loved to have collaborated with Martin, Danny, Arthur Lyman again. And my father create a new project. Prince. What they call right now? I'm very into Latin jazz, fusion, electronica, drum and bass, jungle music. So currently, as far as people that are here on this planet, a guy named Pedro Martinez from New York. He was part of a group called Yerba Buena. Giovanni Hidalgo, one of my conga inspirations. He had an album called Hands of Rhythm, was just a conga and piano. Major inspiration on what I do here in Hawaii, collaborating as far as that is concerned. Let's see. There's a lot. I can't think, but then just a few. This guy.
You're living your dream, right?
Yeah, right.
That's awesome. Wow.
Can I interject, say a couple more things?
Yeah, totally.
Currently, I'm got a couple projects that I'm in. One is called Poem the Forefathers.
Oh, I saw you guys perform. So good.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's something to tribute to my Hawaiian side and give back to my community on that level. As far as projects, that's the latest, I guess, so far. And,
Yeah. You guys, because I saw you guys perform at the opening of Vai Collective at the Kola Ballrooms, right? You guys performed. Did you perform that Poem the Forefathers? Yeah. That was you guys.
Yeah, right.
Well, you have that one song that I really like. Is it on the radio too?
Shida, which one is this? Was it like a ballad or was it a?
I don't remember.
Oh, Colors of Diana.
Maybe. I think I have it on Spotify. I gotta listen to it again. Yeah. But I just want to say shout out to you guys.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
For High Sessions to help us out on making our first video that's outside of the Hawaii.
Oh, is it out yet?
Hawaii norm.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I gotta check that. I missed that one. Yeah. Cool. All right. So last one from Jerry Salamonte. Jake Shimabukuro. Any plans/details for the next Jake and Friends Music Festival?
Oh, nothing right now. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there's no plans right now, but definitely want to do it again.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
People in Japan are like wanting to book their flights to come here and check it out.
Yeah, we need more Japanese tourists because ever since COVID, it's
that's right.
Down.
That's true.
Wow, and we thought it was because of COVID, but it was because of Jake.
That's right.
Jake, been doing it's because of Jake that the influx of Japanese tourists has declined. That's what we just figured out.
You know what's so funny, man? Because that was a two-day adventure, and he was planning that from before. And by the second day, you could tell he was like every ounce of energy in his body was just like done already. Yeah. Meanwhile, Lopaka and I are like, oh, okay, we're going to play our 45-minute set and go home. There's food backstage? All right.
Yeah.
When was the last time you had it?
Well, we did last year. We did a festival called the Hanohano Festival, and then after the wildfires, in Lahaina and Kula, we pivoted to a fundraiser, and it was so, like all those collaborative efforts. I mean, it's just so beautiful to see everybody come together and play. I mean, it's funny because like we all live, here, but everyone's so busy traveling and doing stuff. So sometimes, like, the only times we get to see each other is like backstage, at these types of events. And, but it was, I mean, I love doing those things, I love having those kinds of events. I wish, back in the day, right, we used to have all
There used to be so many festivals
like
back
the
in the day.
Makaha Bash. We used to have the birthday bash. I mean, we'd have all these incredible concerts, and that would just bring everyone together, right, at the show. But
We got to do more of those.
Well, I'm planning one secretly called I'll tell you guys after, but I think it'll be a really cool one. It's kind of to bring people together, and also like the celebrities of Hawaii. Yeah. I'll tell you guys the idea after. It's not public information yet.
Okay.
I know Maleo had their 40th this past
Oh
week.
yeah,
had their
yeah.
40th.
And then Kapena had
Kapena.
the kind.
Yeah, that's speaking about Kapena, I was honored to perform with them on their 40th.
oh no way!
The only non-family member on stage.
Wow.
Oh, you're
with
I
them.
was there.
Yeah. Oh,
I
no
didn't
way.
see you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we was in the dark.
Oh,
the
okay,
band
okay.
was in the dark, but the three guys was in the front where it was like beaming. But yeah, but it was such a great experience. But then
That must have been so fun.
to
Yeah.
get back to what you're saying, like having, I noticed that these certain events, that this is when they showcase certain people coming out of the woodworks and doing certain things, and then going back, as far as bringing back a lot of, like, not just like featuring them, but then other people coming in and showcasing.
Yeah, I think it's the nostalgia factor for a lot of people.
Right,
too.
right.
And it just kind of brings you back to like a good time in your life.
Yeah.
Just
Right,
like when
right,
people
exactly.
see you guys perform,
Yeah.
they remember where they were when they first heard
Right.
the
Well,
song or
When
saw you guys.
Kapena did their 30th reunion, they came on the high sessions, and at that point I hadn't seen them in a decade or more or whatever, and so we're setting up everything and getting them all ready, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna do the first song, and then as soon as you hear ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, it's like, oh, bam, I'm like back in high school, like, so I get the nostalgia, because that whole day I was just on cloud
You're
nine.
just a fan, yeah?
Yeah, because I was like, oh man, I remember every time I seen them, like, over the years at the Shell and at this, and all it took was
Yeah,
so
Kelly Boy was one of my mentors. I mean, he was, when I first, like, I was still in high school, like, and he invited me to play at the Star Dancer, like with them, with the band.
And he's a Kaimuki grad too, yeah?
He's a Kaimuki grad too, yeah.
And he really, took me under his wing, and and was like just a big brother to me. In fact, I remember that night when I played, my uke couldn't get loud enough to play, so he's like, oh, here, give me that, and he gave me his uke to play, and then that was just so cool, man.
Was
It's
that
like
when you still had the
moment
sticky,
I'll never
the
forget.
sticky?
Yep. I had
Oh
that
my God.
Armand-
The sticky, what is that?
People don't even know.
Armand pickup, right?
So
Yeah.
okay, back in the day, like when you wanted to amplify a ukulele, or when we wanted to amplify a ukulele, we didn't have the plug-in, and then so they had this like little thing that it looked like maybe the size of a silver dollar, and you get it and you put it on your ukulele, and you get a rubber band. It would like go around your ukulele and then like stick to it, and then you plug that into the thing, and it would amplify. It was terrible. It was terrible. So that sounded like a tin can, but
Speaking about a life hack.
yeah. But that's back then. That's all we had,
Life hack back in the days. Maybe not so much for today.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so next question comes from Avadada. This person says, if they could collaborate / do a song with any local musician or musicians, living or deceased, who would it be?
Oh, living or deceased?
Locally, no.
As a band.
Is it band?
Or I guess you guys can give a band answer and an individual answer.
Oh, I mean, for me personally, I'd love to bring back Ernie and Dennis and work with those two guys. For me, that just because they were close to me.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Local, yeah. So local for that would be those guys. I don't know about you. I think everyone would have different answers, but
Yeah, probably mine would be collaborating with Chino, Eddie Kamai.
Yeah,
Oh,
Gabi-
Chino Montero.
Yeah, Gabby Pahinui.
Wow.
As far as passed away.
you know,
And-
and to be honest, I would love to have had your dad play on something. I know he kind of Lopaka's dad was real good. Like he wanted us to. He didn't want to like come in and be like, hey, I'm this. He wanted us to be our own thing, and so he wasn't really. He wanted to give us the limelight kind of thing, but
Yeah,
it would been kind of cool if
we
if
really
you
should have had him.
can't come in and play. Yeah.
I know that was a big regret. Yeah.
Yeah, they never thought about it like that, but yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, for me would be Uncle Eddie Kamai, Ota-san, or go even further back, like to have met like Uncle Joseph Kekuku or something, like when
right.
like way back, yeah.
Kui Lee.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Good answers. All right. Next question comes from somebody you might know. Hi, Lifer.
Oh, yes.
He has a question for all of you. He says,
Okay.
Lopaka, could you sample your favorite bird call?
Oh yeah.
I've been saving this for this question.
Okay, so I guess I'll do this one because this is the one that everyone thinks doesn't sound like a bird, but it is a bird. And it's the one that my dad has done on a lot of signature one in Quiet Village. It's a bird I wish was native to Hawaii, but it's not native to Hawaii. It's called the kookaburra.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys heard of that bird before, right?
yeah.
Kookaburra.
So what people don't know is he knows all the birds he's doing.
Yeah.
It's not like he's just
Well,
doing random.
Okay, nowadays I've come to a point where I've created
You've
that.
looked into it,
Believe it
yeah.
or not, I actually got hired to do a curriculum and a workshop with 25 kids in Waimea in Kahilu Theater in conjunction with the Native Conservancy.
That's so cool.
Yeah, to do like rhythm and I guess to bring conscious to help the kids be into native birds, native Hawaiian birds.
Cool.
So I guess I had a month to work on it, and I guess created something, and I presented it to the board, and they liked the idea. And with the help of one of my friends from Point of Forefathers, who's a lyricist and into hip hop, and Olelo, he helped me, because I actually created a rap, like I'm into like creating raps nowadays, believe it or not. But then, so he had me with his help modify this rap about the Palila bird, and about how they're going extinct to save them. But not just that, it consulting with the conservancy opened my eyes to do other things. So it's making me like create this certain project that I'm going to be doing in the future, doing soundscapes and sync licensing with my bird calls and
So
certain
what
groups.
is the bird he's
But so going back to the bird I'm going to do, which is doesn't sound like a bird.
Okay.
It's called the kookaburra.
Kookaburra?
Yeah. So it goes.
Where's it from?
Oh, you know what? I think it's from
Like South America?
South America.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
what
Sounds
the
like
song,
it,
right?
yeah.
Kookaburra
Yeah.
sits
Yeah.
on the old country.
Right. So
okay.
it's like. But that's.
It almost sounds like a made up bird.
I know it does, right?
Yeah.
But at first I thought it was a monkey.
Yeah, that's what I
like,
think.
no, it's
people-
not a monkey. It's freaking like it's a
Dude,
bird.
do more. They
Okay,
wanna
so
hear,
the
they
Palila
wanna
bird,
hear.
which I just explained, the native bird. Well, not just native. The first native Hawaiian bird that I learned was a bird called the manuo from Kauai manuo. It was through the song called Manuo. Melvin Lee wanted me to help her do a Blue Note performance, and she told me it'd be great if you could learn the sound. And she actually found the audiophile. It's like 1800s, but extinct native Hawaiian bird.
That's
So are you good at
incredible.
impressions as well? Or is it mainly just like these like very
Well, the first impressions
Niche
was
sound.
Mr. Sancho Lee.
yeah.
And then I started doing characters yeah, but I did. I mean, I think if I pursued it more, probably, and you're watching the guy from Police Academy, what was his name, Michael something.
Oh, Michael Winslow.
Winslow, right? Inspirations, and back in the day, I used to beatbox.
Wow.
Dougie Fresh was a big inspiration.
Oh yeah, that makes
But,
sense. You have good vocal control.
Right, but
Have you
nowadays,
ever taught them how to do it? Do you guys know how
No.
to do any bird calls?
no, they just look at me and laugh. And
Yeah.
He does this one that I used to be able to do where you whistle and you.
oh, right. So a dove in heat.
Yeah,
He's talking
Can
about
you,
the dove
can you
in
teach
heat.
us something right now?
Yeah, so the dove in heat, which is, when you see
do
the
it anymore.
doves circling around in the parking lot, and you see one with the tail and the other ones, they're trying to court the other one. And so they make a noise that goes, or a call goes, ooh, 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 ooh. So when you see the tail going up, it's the male trying to court the female in the parking lot. So it's more like
But
you hum, and you kind of do a whistle over the hum. So you combine it together.
But you know where that's featured? Where where that's featured in a movie, but in a totally different context?
No.
In Dumb and Dumber. Because Jim Carrey goes, she brought me in like a tractor beam. And he does that. So I'm like, oh my God, it's so pigeon.
Right.
Please, next time
So
you watch
funny.
that movie, it's in there.
Right.
That whistle.
Can you do a Koki sound? I feel like you can
Oh,
usually
yeah.
do a Koki.
So,
It's
yeah.
He
just
does
like,
Koki's for sure.
it's like I'm back home in Hilo.
Yeah, different depends on what sample you want.
Wow, that's so cool.
You can roll back and cut it up and sample it now.
Do you know the EEV? Can you do the EEV bird?
The EEV,
Oh yeah. The tail end. That. Oh
like,
wow.
or kind of reminds me of the eel. Yeah, it's like almost relative when they're going over the cliff. That's a seagull already.
Yeah.
But,
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Fuck.
Mahalo for sharing that.
Incredible, man.
Okay.
but when you hear it with these guys, a little melodic inflections.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
It
know.
sounds like you're in a rainforest.
You know what's
Yeah,
funny?
exactly. With those the things
Chimes, the wind chimes.
the wind chimes. Yeah.
Like Moloka'i's Freedom and some other ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. That's when I saw you guys at this. I think it was some concert at Sea Life Park.
Oh, yeah.
This is like maybe 2 years
Yeah,
ago
yeah.
or before.
I don't remember
And that's
what
the first time I saw or heard the bird call. Yeah, I was like,
right.
this is so crazy. Yeah. But yeah, mahalo for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay, next question from High Lifer. Says
Oh my
Jake,
God.
other than family, who's your favorite Shimabukuro?
Oh my God. You know where this is coming from right now. Does it make more sense?
No.
You don't know who High Lifer is?
I know who High Lifer is,
Oh,
but Jake doesn't.
is it? Well,
Oh no.
well, I would have to say Kyle.
Kyle Shimabukuro.
I would have to say Kyle.
interesting.
Co-host of the High Sessions podcast.
Oh.
Wait, is that who that is?
Yeah, that's who that
okay.
Because that's his company, High Life.
Yeah.
I missed his grand opening too.
Yeah.
Of course, it's you, Kyle.
Sorry, Kyle.
I barely made it for like a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my car. Oh, that day. Yeah, so High Life just opened a store in South Shore Market,
Yeah.
and that day Jake stopped by.
did
We were
you-
supposed to
yeah.
stop by, but my car broke down. Like I literally got in my car and I tried to start it, and it just wouldn't start. So I made it, but like for only like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. At least
Did
you
you
made
go?
it.
Lopaka?
No, I wanted to,
Oh,
but I
okay.
totally spaz on that.
Yeah, so Kyle and Marshall, way
was
back in
great,
the
exactly.
day when the three of us, when we were playing at Pure Heart, they were our first sponsor.
Sponsor, yeah,
They were-
we actually had clothes.
Yeah.
sponsors.
Right.
Wow, awesome.
Hawaiian
But
style.
Hawaiian
I remember
style.
we were with another surf company. I
Right.
won't name their name. But before that, and I remember they gave us some clothes, and then they're like, "Oh, we need to model the surf shorts," So they're like, "Oh, maybe we'll just use these guys," and they're like, "Try to lift up your shirts," and we all lift up their shirt, like, we'll figure something else out. So we got the shorts, but we never were models.
That's funny. Oh my
Like,
God.
we'll just give you the clothes, but we're not
just
gonna take
have it.
pictures of you wearing them.
Yeah. We take pictures with the clothes on, but if you got to
Yeah.
take your shirt off, that's not
remember
gonna,
those
it's not
days.
gonna work. Yeah,
We had major wardrobe.
yeah, that was cool.
used to
I still
give-
have some of those shirts, you know.
No, but
to this-
Lopaka you were always
yeah,
like,
Lopaka was
cut
okay,
and-
but I think we were a
yeah.
little bit too hairy as well.
They got the Okinawan.
Yeah.
no,
So,
Japanese.
that was a problem.
All right, that's funny. Last one for John.
Okay.
What's your new workout secret for staying in shape?
Oh my God, someone must have leaked this. All right. Okay. I have this new thing. I'm gonna trademark it, so don't steal this idea. It's called Fit Night.
Oh, there you go.
Because I play I play Fortnite at night, right? I'm getting fat. And I've been like trying to move my shirt this whole time because my stomach is hanging over my pants. But yeah, so I bought some weights and some. So my thing now is whenever I die, I gotta run over to the weights and do like, some reps on curls, maybe do some tricep extensions or whatever, and then I can play the next round. Versus just sitting there for 3 hours or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, so
Nice.
Fit Night. That's
Fit
my
Night.
new. So we'll see in maybe 6 months. If I'm all buffed out.
To be determined how
To be determined. Yeah,
effective it
I
is.
literally bought the things yesterday. So yeah, I went to Walmart. I was just gonna buy like I think I went there just to buy a pull-up bar, and then they had everything there. They had like the bench and because
wow.
it's hard to find stuff because there's no Sports Authority anymore.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was like,
When you play Fortnite, is it like a Nintendo controller
yeah, it's like a
thing?
Nintendo controller.
Oh, so you should plank while you play.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
But I
you
have to
should plank.
concentrate on what I'm.
Yeah.
Well, you'll
Yeah.
get so good that it's like you could just stand up plank and you're not even gonna know you're
Yeah,
planking.
You can
Yeah.
you can plank
Yeah.
and it just
Squat.
dude.
you know,
you
Jake-
would be in incredible shape.
Jake is he is I think all of us in a way are obsessive compulsive to a point, and he's never played video games
Ever
really.
in your life,
Well,
like
I mean,
even when you were
Well,
a
I
kid.
did like
A little
like
bit.
Dr. Mario like way back.
Okay,
in
what
the
about like
day or
NBA 2K with your kids? Or they don't
No,
have video
yeah,
games.
yeah, we've never.
Okay.
So
played
that's
that
why
one,
like
but-
musicians are funny because like I don't know about how these guys work, but I know like when I practice, it's like you do a lick and you're like, oh, that wasn't perfect. So you do it again, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna try one more time. I put it down, and then I'm gonna go get something to eat, and you do it again, and you're like, that wasn't. It just doesn't feel. You just keep doing it, but so for him too. Like one time I had Diablo, like this game Diablo, which is a adventure game, and he slept over at my house that night, and I went to sleep at like midnight, and he's there playing. I woke up at 6 a.m, and he's still sitting there playing, and he's like, I can't stop, John. I'm like, oh yeah,
That's
we
the
gotta-
reason why I don't play video
That's
games.
why.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're similar to me.
Right. Yeah.
Same way.
I remember that.
I had
That's
to
like
like
the
I had to like
monster one or
pry his
something,
hand
right?
off the mouse.
Yeah.
It's like it's the monster one. You
yeah,
create
you run around
monsters
and
or
you
something?
I'll get addicted to it.
sorcerers.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and-
yeah.
That's why I don't play video games anymore because I have an addictive
Yeah.
personality.
No, and so I stopped from like I think from 2000. Once I started working, I'm like, okay, I gotta just focus on my career, So I stopped. That was like 2002, 2003, and then I never played until my son got into Fortnite, and then that's what kicked off this
Got it.
new
Okay,
you
addiction.
relapsed.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was up
That's
all night,
right.
Yeah,
So-
no,
Yeah.
it's
But
dangerous.
there's forums nowadays. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah,
Fortnite.
no, and then
Yeah.
you can play online with people. You can.
And that's
didn't
the thing. Like,
realize how serious
we
people
have a
were.
crew.
Yeah.
We play every
Yeah,
night.
exactly.
So it's like
you're
just
hanging out with
yeah,
friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of like hanging out and playing music for 6 hours, you're just playing video games with people for 6 hours.
So not as productive.
They're onto
I
something.
think I have played NBA 2K. I mean, I've seen my my a friend of ours got my kids the I guess like the stationary like it looks like an arcade, but it's shrank. It's like super small. It's like this
Yeah.
mini arcade
That'd
thing.
be
Yeah.
cool if they made a
the 2K.
musician's version of Fortnite where, it's all musicians getting together
Yeah.
Well,
virtually.
Is
Yeah.
that yeah.
but I don't know if I'll talk to you later about maybe tweeting out my handle. So if people want to play with us.
Oh yeah, I mean you can if you.
But
can do it right now
I
if you
don't want to say it now because I don't know. I don't know how crazy that'll get. This is a big podcast.
I don't think you'll get that crazy.
No, yeah, we'll talk about it.
If we cut
Well,
the
I'll tell you what.
clips.
message Kamaka.
if you wanted
If you want
that.
and then
Yeah.
And
I'll bet them for you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, recently, because I played a lot of video games growing up. I was sports video games, and that's pretty much it. And then like I haven't played really since like high school, and like at friend's house in college I would play. And now I just like my brother got me a Game Boy for my birthday this past year. Just like those Game Boys where you flip the Game Boy SP. So I played Pokemon, beat it, and I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And like I go in it like just addicted, like playing the whole time while also doing stuff. And then I just stopped because I'm just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Because I just get too into it. So like there's a lot of video games that I'd love to play. And my friends are like, you should play. But I'm just like, I won't get anything done.
Yeah. Same here.
They still make Game Boy?
Yeah. So they like kind of
It's more modified, huh?
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. Not like the actual Nintendo, but like people can make it. He bought it from this random website. I don't know. Black market kind of, I don't know what it is.
It'll cut into your fantasy football.
Exactly. So I can't have video games and fantasy football and girlfriend, or I'm going to lose one of them. I don't want to lose the girlfriend.
Exactly.
Okay, so last question comes from my stepdad, Khalil Robinson. He says, how has their music styles changed? How has the group evolved in the 25 years they've been together?
I guess, yeah.
You guys talk about that because there's been,
I guess I'm definitely more seasoned, more experience with all the people collaborated with. I'm pretty sure probably on your end too, got more experience. And so I guess in reference to this new project that we're doing with Pure Heart 3, as far as going into the studio, that's what I'm noticing. Got more things to choose from to put into the musical composition.
Yeah. You guys got more like things in your like bat belt or whatever.
Right.
You got so many tools that you can use.
Yeah. More insight. Yeah. That could be good or bad.
Yeah.
In the studio, because you want to like change things now or do things more or less.
Instead of just keeping it simple.
Yeah,
because you only had like so few
That's
options.
why John's good to like
Right.
listen and be like,
yeah.
okay, that's maybe not this part, but
I mean, it is a project coming into, it's, when you put on your producer hat, you got to think of like the average listener and stuff and like paring things down and where does everything go. But yeah, man, these guys are, I don't know. I mean, they just come and do what they do, and it's usually almost perfect every time.
Yeah.
no.
Like for musically, I got more into world rhythms and syncopation and independence.
Lopaka does this thing. Let's talk about this for a second. He does this thing where he comes with we talked about this before.
I have no idea what he's gonna say.
No, usually
Chick's already laughing.
usually when you record something, right? Like you record any kind of rhythm, the bass. You know what I'm going to talk about.
I know exactly.
And then like so normally you have like your 1 and your 3 or your bass, your real like the bottom part of the rhythm, and then you build up.
Dr. Trey talks about this.
All the way to the top of your whatever your little pings at the top. Okay, so you have this triangle of rhythmic. Lopaka comes in and he like starts with the triangle and he's like tick 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 tick, and we're like, it doesn't, and then he'll like start another thing and just like tok, 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 tok. And when you're listening to it in the other room, you're like, what is this? Like it's. But then he's like, and then he just goes, don't worry about it. And then like 8 drums later, it's like, oh my God, this all like works together. Like it's a big puzzle. But like when he puts in the last piece, like click, it's like boom, and then it just makes this like amazing. But he starts off with the weirdest thing first. It's really weird.
To get it out of the way.
Right, exactly. Instead of doing the foundation, right? Instead of the one.
I think he purposely does that because he wants it amuses him to see everybody like, what is he doing? And then at the end, like, oh, okay,
That's so funny.
I think he does that for his own enjoyment.
That's actually
Think about
that's
that.
pretty amazing. Yeah.
Dr. Trey used to talk about that. I don't know how you do it. It's like it's just funny because it's just what's on my mind at the moment, and not
Right.
So classic that you guys.
But which, in my opinion, I think is a much harder way to construct the rhythm that you're doing.
Yeah,
That's funny.
that's because coming from the composition background in school, and then you you put it on. Yeah, it's kind of classic.
But that's just kind of for your own enjoyment, right? That's like it entertains you, right, to do that.
Or is
I
it
mean,
part of the
Because I
process?
can tell,
No,
because I can tell you love when
It's
everyone
kind of both,
starts,
actually.
because everyone
It's
starts
both.
saying, Lopaka, what are you doing? You're like, no, don't worry.
Yeah.
And then you do this other obscure part, and it's like, no, don't worry. And then finally, like the last, like the 20th layer, right? You'll do like the,
Right, the foundation.
Yeah.
then the downbeats come in. Okay,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
we go.
Oh, okay.
So this guy does know what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's all about the magic.
Yeah. Speaking of magic, you guys have grown such a strong fan base over the last 25 years, and you're very beloved in the community. Do you guys feel like you have to do new things to try to reach the younger audience? Because everybody has your fans have grown up with you.
Good
You know?
question.
So do you think you've had to like change anything to like try to reach these younger fans? Maybe do a little mumble rap. Maybe Jake turns a hat sideways, starts rapping or something. John starts performing without his shirts and some gold chains, Yeah, Lopaka's thinking right now. Yeah.
It's a good question because I remember when we first tried to do our first Blue Note performance, John was kind of hesitant in booking because he wasn't too sure if people were going to show up.
Yeah.
And then I told him from my confidence level, man, just do 3 days, guarantee. Guarantee. He's like, nah, I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
But then now that we went through that, he's like, oh yeah, Lopaka, we should have done 3 days.
Yeah.
Just as far as that,
To
but
reach the
building
young crowd.
building the hype and promo to get people nowadays. That's something.
Do you think about that?
No, well, so think on how to do it. Yes, but then
I don't-
to approach that.
Yeah,
Some
honestly-
people just come easier, right? Social
Yeah,
media.
yeah. No, I feel like we're old,
Right.
and I don't mind being old. And there's guys that are great out there that are younger that are doing that stuff, and like I'd feel weird. I'd feel weird like trying to go outside of what we do to change, to reach another audience. I mean, we do what we do, and the people that like it, and
Right.
and yeah, but I don't know. At our age and at our point of career, I'm just really excited to see the newer guys doing stuff, and I get excited more for them because for us when we play, we're really playing because it's for fun. We're not trying to make another
Right.
run at this thing.
Yep.
So I don't think about it a lot. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. You don't want to reinvent the wheel, right? You just keep
Yeah.
doing what you do.
Well, one of the things I would love for us to do though is because we've never really got a chance. We never really had the chance to like travel and do something. But
That's
I would
true.
love to do a Pure Heart show in Japan.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
That would be a dream.
That's gotta
for me.
happen. That's gotta
That would be a dream.
Yeah, I'm
for
down.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always tell people, I think everybody's career is like you have this like you're young and you're exciting, right? And so you have this trajectory there, and then you get to like I feel like, well, I don't know about these guys because these guys are a little different. But in my age, I am not cool, and nobody that wants to hear from middle-aged dad singing love songs, especially my kids' age people, right? But at a certain age, I'm gonna be like white hair, got the beard. I'm gonna be sitting there playing my old songs. It'll be Kapuna status, and then I get the respect.
And then okay, so you're in the like the awkward phase.
Yeah, I'm in
right now.
that
You're like-
awkward
You're not
phase.
young, but you're not super
Yeah.
old.
Right,
You're
right.
like- yeah,
So
yeah.
at some point, it's gonna be like, oh, that's that's.
I
John.
understand what you're saying because my girlfriend's dad recently he told me like, Kamaka, you don't have to call me uncle, because he's like 20 years older than me.
Yeah.
And I'm 31, so so I'm just like, but that's what you do. You call older people uncle
Right.
and auntie and whatever, and especially it's my girlfriend's dad. We don't say Mr. or Mrs. here. We say uncle, auntie.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I guess I'm at that weird middle age where I'm just like.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
right,
es-
yeah. You're getting
especially
that.
because like my guests they come on, they're older than me, but like in a professional setting, like I don't call like Uncle Jake, for example. I'm not gonna say that as a Jake,
right,
John,
right.
Lopaka.
Right.
Even though as a respect thing, you call the older people. So it's like, at what point do you not call people uncle or auntie?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it.
I think
Yeah.
sometimes we don't realize how much. I think we don't realize as a group how much we've inspired the next era of musicians here in Hawaii. I'm not sure if you hear from people telling you guys this.
Dude, I
But-
had no idea until we did the high session show.
Of who? Or
Well, no, just in general, like,
Oh.
and that's why, like,
Like your podcast or your high sessions. like
oh, you mean
music
people
folks.
coming in?
Yeah, all the
Gotcha.
musicians.
Right.
coming
that's
in.
what made me think like maybe we should do some more shows
Right.
after being so long, because people would come on the show and they'd be like, "Oh, I grew up listening to you guys, or I played this because I'm Jake that, or whatever," and I'm like, "Oh man, I didn't realize that this many people cared." You know?
Oh, can I confess something?
Sure.
You know when I went on your podcast, the high sessions,
Yeah.
I didn't know like the whole Pure Heart stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not until after I was like, wait, that was the guy from Pure Heart.
Well, and I don't ever expect anybody to know.
Yeah,
like,
and I was like, oh my gosh, I listened to your guys' song growing up all the time. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what people like about us, our just our realness, our authenticity, our humbleness, and you wouldn't even think.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah. No,
I
just
would never
very
think
down
even-
to
I wouldn't
earth,
know.
laid back, humble people. Yeah.
I think that's what attracts, not attracts, but having the next generation, like the Green, or some of some other producers like Leslie or some other ones, Capeno Boy, some others like to look at us as inspiration, because I guess the way how we conduct ourselves as a group, and
Yeah, totally.
I think we don't even see that.
Yeah. Well, you're all great musicians, great guys, great humans. So I think it all blends into like, role model kind of type for people.
But then going back to what you're talking about Japan though, and Pure Heart. I know that there's a big fan base down there, and it's kind of like if we do go to Japan, if you ever heard about Kalapana and Japan, Kalapana is like this. It's like they're like superheroes in Japan as far as locally. You go over there, and I think it's kind of like it's kind of like the Beatles going to Japan.
We should do
Even though we're as old as we are, if we ever went there.
Well, I mean, for me, I said Japan because like after our Pure Heart, performance. I mean, after when we went our separate ways, because of the Pure Heart experience that we had, that really opened up a door for me in Japan to have a solo career.
Right.
And so because of that experience, I was able to, I got to sign my first, record deal in Japan. And then that's what really started, gave me the confidence to do this, to do this.
Really
and then
cool full
He's
circle.
right-
and then I
Hanohano.
always thought like, oh man, it would be really cool because this was the band that got me to that experience, and I would love it would come full circle if we were able to do a Pure Heart show.
Nice.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're planning to go on tour in Japan next year for the podcast.
Nice.
Maybe we should go at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah, that'd be
let's go
fun.
together. That would be
Oh, we're-
awesome.
we're
You've
trying-
been before. You've been before, right?
I just been for the first time in April.
Okay.
But we're trying to do one with Konishiki, the sumo wrestler.
Oh, yeah,
over
yeah,
there.
yeah.
It'd be cool to
that
do
would
like
be
the concert and
amazing.
podcast at the same
Right.
time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Konishiki plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's
maybe
he's a
he can
great
open up
musician.
for you guys.
He was a fan
Hey,
of ours,
yo,
and vice versa.
I
He's-
opened up for him
Right,
in Japan.
Right.
I
I
opened
guess,
up
yeah,
for
he's
him
a
in
superstar.
Japan.
Right.
The first time I went to Japan.
we can all play together.
My mom told me that he's a big fan of ours.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Oh, let's
He
let's
messages
do
on
this.
Facebook sometimes. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell
Super
him.
nice
I'm
guy.
gonna
He's
tell him.
royalty, man.
Nice
That
guy.
guy. He's a
Yeah.
legend.
Yeah.
If we can get you guys involved in our like podcast, or I mean, it doesn't have to like. You guys just kind of be there at the same time we're doing it, and maybe plan something with Konishiki. We could do
That'll be
something
epic.
like that if you guys.
Tell him
are
we'll
down,
open for him, man.
Yeah,
anytime.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I'm always good to
yeah.
go. Like, you don't even have to tell me
Maybe do
twice.
like a live podcast with Konishiki and then Pure Heart concert after or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that'd be
Something,
epic.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a great singer.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a great singer. Yeah, he's
a
done
producer too,
concerts,
right?
Yeah.
He's a producer as well, right?
and he does all this great like
Groups.
these great things for for kids to support
Yeah.
the youth and all that. Yeah.
Super cool. Okay, well, we'll talk more about it later.
Okay.
But mahalo everybody for the social media fan questions. Make sure you leave some for the next guest, and maybe your question will make it on the podcast. All right, so we gotta start to close the show. I know you gotta be somewhere at
Yep.
3:00. Okay, so I like to ask all of my guests the same question about keeping it aloha. It's the name of the show. So I like to know in your lives, how do you keep it aloha?
Well, I thought about this question a little bit, 'cause but you know what? Okay, I don't know about me, but when I thought about keeping it aloha, I just thought about like, again, going back to when I was in high school and Jake and I were playing, and I had a lot of reservations about playing Hawaiian music and local music, and never once did I get any pushback from any local or Hawaiian out there. Everyone was like super encouraging, And so I think that keeping it aloha is that like, I think here in Hawaii, like we always assume the good in the person first, and we treat them that way. And I hope that we pay that forward, like, so whenever we meet fans or other musicians, it's always like, hey, how can we help you, or like encourage them or whatever. And that's why, like, at least for us, with the younger guys, I mean, I just love seeing them blossom and become huge. It's just great, because I never thought I'd even make it this far, like, because I thought, this Japanese kid from Hawaii, they're not gonna accept me as a, but everybody was super cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, relative to what he's saying, believe that we're at a certain age where we have a certain amount of knowledge or wisdom that we can give back to our local people, and I guess keeping it aloha would be for me in that sense, and helping like the next generation being growing up, being honest and truthful to themselves, and not, I guess, leading negative. Be optimistic, and I mean, there's a lot of struggles going on here in Hawaii, or like around the world. But yeah, just try to be focused in yourself to keep the aloha going.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wait, this is the life hack part, right?
No.
This is
how do you keep it
like,
aloha.
okay.
Life hack is after. Yeah.
Oh.
Unless it's part of your life hack.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I guess.
It actually is, in a certain sense.
I don't know. Just. Yeah, just kind of. That unconditional love, and just spreading that joy. I think that's everything they said.
What they said.
I just
Well, one thing that I feel like how you keep it aloha in your life is, and you wrote it on top of the back scratcher because you brought it to our first episode together as your life hack. So I had you sign it because I didn't have you sign it last time. And you wrote humble and kind and stuff. And I feel like that's like your way of keeping it aloha, because you've reached like such superstar status in Hawaii and outside of Hawaii, but you're like one of the most humble guys I've ever met in my life. And you're so kind and like very just like down to earth. So I think in your life that's probably the best way you keep it aloha.
Thank you, Kamaka. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Thank
When
you.
we travel, Jake's always like, yeah, I can get do you need help with your bags and stuff? I'm like, I got my bags. You can just, you're Jake Shimabukuro. Just do whatever you gotta do,
That's so cool. Okay, so we talked about the bird call stuff, and before we get into the life hack, I want to know if you guys have any secret talents,
Oh,
or maybe you have other secret talents too, Lopaka.
I can make I make the best gourmet chili.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you've never made chili for us.
Right? I should have said that.
You should now,
man.
yeah, now you gotta do it.
Everyone could raise about my chili.
Okay,
Wow.
gotta make it in Japan
Okay.
for the fans. My secret technique is I'm really good at catching things in my mouth.
There you go.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
That's right. I do remember that.
Like tossing things.
Yeah,
out
you
and-
could toss it.
yeah,
And I could go behind the back. I could go from my feet
Really?
to my mouth. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm really
Awesome.
good.
I don't really have any other talents. People like my, so again, I'm like somewhat OCD. I can't control myself or whatever. And so I'm in a corporate setting now. So I'm in these meetings, long meetings. And so I've been doing these doodle drawings,
There you go.
and people seem to like those.
You're a pretty good drawer.
But I'm not a good drawer, but I just do these doodles and people.
Okay.
You should make
No.
shirt prints, and then
Yeah.
boom, there goes your market.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
doodling.
Okay.
Is
Remember those
pretty
retro
You
back in
gotta
the
see. You gotta
80s?
see.
pretty
Kind of like,
amazing.
dude, it's hard to explain. It's like
Yeah,
a
you
psychic-
made those coasters and all that. Remember?
So, yeah.
Back in the day?
So
I mean, you made the shirts.
Yeah. Well, Kyle made that one.
Okay.
I-
It's kind of like the highlight.
Yeah. But Yeah, I guess that would be.
It's this type of form. It's
Kyle,
kinda-
my favorite
Your favorite
Shimabukuro.
Yeah, your
Shimabukuro.
favorite Shimabukuro.
Favorite non-relative. What about you, Jake?
Oh
What's your
no, we
secret
gave away
talent?
the secret because we always tell people we're cousins. um, sorry, I don't know. What is Oh no.
What is that?
Oh,
Spearfishing?
yeah.
Yeah,
I do love fishing and yeah. I mean,
Okay.
good,
That's,
you know,
that's
like-
like
No,
bottom of the
no,
list.
but-
But
See, this is him being humble.
this guy,
Yeah.
these guys are bad.
Yeah, both
in
these
the kind of
guys.
spear diving.
We went Big Island once on a camping trip,
Yeah.
and like I would stay on the shore and just watch all the stuff. And those guys go out and they got some good stuff, man.
Okay.
We found out that we love spear diving, but this guy,
He's good.
He's just pretty good.
Oh no,
Jake
my
Shimabukuro,
grandfather
the
was
secret.
he was a really avid spear fisherman and but so when I was a kid, he used to always take me out with him, and his diving partner was a man named Uncle Keely, who's he's like a legend. I mean, in the spear
Moai.
diving world. Yeah, Uncle
Moai,
Keely.
yeah,
Yeah. And so they were dive partners, and together they were like just legends on the island,
Wow.
So I learned a lot of their techniques of like how they, would tie the spear and like, certain techniques that they would use. I mean, even like little things like, because back then they didn't have like wetsuits and all that, right? So they would get the thick rubber bands, and they would wear like a long sleeve shirt, and they would put the rubber bands on their wrist, to
smart.
keep like the body heat in and tuck in their shirt, or I mean, just like, all these little things that you pick up, and as a kid, you just kind of take it for granted, right? But but if you think about it, back then, that was so like ahead of their time, because they didn't have access. They used to make all their own masks with the jealousy windows, like the old jealousies. They would slowly crack the end to make it, to make a mask, and then they would use the tire, the rubber from inside the tire, and that's how they would. And they would,
Oh,
like,
no way.
Yeah,
Wow.
and they would like make their own dive masks.
Now
and
that's some
all
life
that.
hacks right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So it's pretty incredible, like, to just have been able to see that, to experience that. Yeah.
Super cool. All right. Well, since we're on that note, what are your life hacks?
I just have advice.
That's fine. Yeah, that's a life hack.
Do you want the wedding advice or the baby advice?
Oof, I probably get married before I ever have kids. So
Okay, so I'll do the wedding.
Let's give
Okay,
you the
I'll give
wedding
you the
one.
Sorry. Yeah, because you're in that age range. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna get married, okay?
Yes.
Now, you got to go through all the planning, right? There's the cake and the whatever, and a lot of dudes make this mistake. They go like, so the wife will go like, oh, what color? There's a color theme, for the wedding. What color should it be? The red and the blue, or the green and the whatever? And then most guys go, oh, honey, like that. Don't worry, whatever you want. I just want you to
That's
be happy.
exactly what I would say.
Do not do that. Because they don't like that, because it's like you don't care. So my advice to you is just pick something.
Okay.
Because she's gonna do whatever she wants anyway. It doesn't matter what you say. But if you go like, I like the blue one because, and just whatever, comes to your mind,
Okay.
And it'll show that you thought about it and you put your input into it, and then she's just gonna do what she does, and then you just go, oh yeah, that's great. And when it's done, because in the end, you don't care.
Yeah.
But
This is good advice for like, what do you want to eat? Just say something.
Yeah,
And then if
yeah.
she doesn't want it, she'll just choose whatever
yeah,
she
exactly.
wants.
Yes.
Oh, that's genius.
So don't do the deal because you think you're being nice, but in their head they're saying this guy doesn't care about this event.
That's very good, because I'm the kind of like, whatever you want,
Yeah.
anything you want, you can have. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I remember just like, oh, this is the favor and this is the favor. I'm like, I like that one better. Okay, but they went the other one. Didn't matter. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great life hack.
Okay.
It's good advice, John.
Yeah, that's good advice.
For me, where's my phone?
You brought a prop?
Huh? No. I guess my phone. No.
Well, you
I
want me
guess-
to grab it for you?
No. Mine is just. I mean, I didn't think as thorough as he did, but then I was like, some of my life hacks. I guess one would be like for your phone. I figured out like if you don't have anything to hold your phone in your car, You can go to City Mill and grab a industrial strength of Velcro, and cut one in the back, like how, and put one in the back of your phone, and then put one on your dashboard,
And you just
and just
Velcro
push
it.
it, yeah, Velcro
Oh,
right there,
nice.
like that, and that's what I do with my phone. So in the back of my phone, I have a Velcro piece.
Oh, I should do that on my steering wheel so I can watch football games while I drive.
Right, exactly. right. Totally.
I'll put it on my windshield mirror or rear view mirror so I can just watch football.
I just remember Kamaka is insane with the football.
I am. Yes.
Or if you peeing, and you got a strong odor in there. Another one I just found out is you combine a little bit of vinegar with thyme, a little bit of thyme, and a little bit of vodka.
And you drink it or you put it in the
A
toilet?
little bit of vodka, and you on the top part of the vodka bottle, just a little, but like 75% of vodka, a little bit of vinegar in there, 20, and then a little bit of thyme, and just a little bit of water, and shake it up, and you put a spray cap on there, shake it up, and you can use that as a deterrent to a pee.
Oh.
There's too strong of a pee in your bathroom.
Nice.
So to clean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not that keen to actually and a little bit of essential oil. I'm sorry,
like-
I'm missing essential oil too.
Like a Febreze, like a homemade Febreze.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
we
a
can
homemade
use it for our
Febreze.
shishi breaks over here.
right. So
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, nice. That's a good one. I'm gonna tell my girlfriend that one. What about you, Jake? Jake has the last episode. He had one of the best life hacks ever.
I bet.
We've had 144 episodes so far, 445, and his life hacks was top
my
three
God.
for sure.
Wow, that's
See, that's why I felt so much pressure because John told me you told him that I have
wonder.
to top the last one.
Oh, no wonder.
If you can, no problem.
So, but anyways, yeah, the back scratcher one, right, about the humble, grateful kind, right? But so I thought I'd just share something. This was actually because it kind of ties into the humble, grateful kind philosophy, and kind of but there's I'm a few years ago I got to speak at this conference, and I met and there was a speaker there that was really inspiring. His name is Simon Sinek.
Yeah, I
And
know.
he shared this story. So I just kind of wrote it so that but this is not from me, but it's something that I had heard him share that really spoke to me, and this was like this was like almost 15 years ago, or maybe even more. But so he tells this story in Simon's words. There was a former Undersecretary of Defense who was invited to give a speech at large. And he was invited to give a speech at a large conference. Have you heard this
I
one?
never heard of this.
So he's invited to give a speech at this large conference for about 1,000 people. And he was standing on the stage with his cup of coffee in a styrofoam cup. And he took a sip of his coffee and he smiled and he looked down at the coffee, and then he went off script and he said, "Last year, I spoke at this exact same conference. But last year, I was still the undersecretary. And when I spoke here, they flew me out business class. When I arrived at the airport, there was somebody waiting for me to take me to my hotel. They had already checked me in, and they took me straight up to my room. And the next morning, I came downstairs, and there was someone waiting in the lobby to greet me. And they drove me to the same venue and handed me a cup of coffee in a beautiful ceramic cup." He then says, "I'm no longer the undersecretary. I flew here coach. I took a taxi to my hotel. I checked myself in. When I came down to the lobby this morning, I took another taxi to the same venue. And when I asked someone, 'Do you have any coffee?' they pointed to the coffee machine in the corner. And I poured myself a cup of coffee into this styrofoam cup." He says the lesson is the ceramic cup was never meant for me. It was meant for the position I held, because I deserve a styrofoam cup. As you gain fame, as you gain fortune, as you gain position and seniority, people will treat you better. They'll treat you different. They will hold doors open for you. They will get you a cup of coffee without you even asking. So just remember, none of that stuff is meant for you. This stuff is meant for the position you hold. It is meant for the position of success that you have achieved as a leader, or whatever you want to call it. But you will always deserve a styrofoam cup. Remember that lesson of humility and gratitude. You can accept all the benefits and all the perks as long as you remember to accept them with kindness, because they are not meant for you. They are meant for the position you hold. And you will always deserve the styrofoam cup. So I always thought that was,
That was awesome.
That's our
That
president
always-
of the student government right there.
There you go. There you go. Kaimuki High. Represent.
so that always really stuck with me.
Wow, that was okay. Well, you topped your first line. There we go.
But that was in the words of Simon Sinek. He,
Awesome.
when he
I like
that
his
really
stuff.
moved me. Yeah.
Totally. Mahalo for sharing that. All right, so we just have our last fast fave 5 questions. These are rapid fire answers, okay?
Okay.
So just get through them, and then we'll get John out of here because he has to go sell houses, or I don't know what he's got to do.
I actually do have to go to a house. Yeah.
All right, favorite song to perform together? It's rapid fire answers.
Mr. Sancho
Shoot 'em
Lee.
out.
Yeah, there you go. Essentially.
Okay. Favorite memory together?
I think of the time at my parents' house. The practices, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hokus?
I was gonna say the Hokus.
Hokus?
Yeah,
Yeah, Hokus might have been-
that was.
I was more
yeah.
panicking at the Hoku. That's why it's not as,
Yeah.
that's a fond one.
You blacked out that night.
Yeah.
Not from alcohol, just from
Yeah.
panic.
Yeah.
Okay, favorite guilty pleasure?
Fortnite.
Barbecue.
Lihimoy.
Oh, barbecue chips.
Oh, nice. What brand barbecue chip?
Oh, I like I don't know, any kind. Yeah, the Hawaiian luau ones are pretty
Yeah, I was
good.
gonna think because there's a Lay's one that we
Yeah,
think of,
yeah.
but the Hawaiian
Yeah,
luau
Lay's,
one
yeah.
is,
Luau one
I
is
think, it's way
pretty
better.
good, Yeah.
Yeah,
And then lihimoy, any kind.
Yeah, or lemon peel actually.
Okay, all of that.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah, Lopaka likes his dried fruit.
Okay,
Yeah.
favorite childhood snack? I don't know. It might be the same answer.
Mochi crunch, kaki mochi.
Yeah.
It just goes to Snickers for some reason for me, but that I don't know how accurate that is.
Okay.
Peanut butter crunch. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. And favorite movie?
Braveheart.
Oh, that was a quick one. Braveheart.
I like movies.
I don't know. I'm stuck.
Oh, that was the first one that came to mind was Love Actually. Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, I guess.
Oh, that's
okay.
a good one. That's
nice,
a good one.
nice. Good ones all around.
Just popped in the head.
All right. Well, sounds good. That's all we have for you guys today. Mahalo so much for taking time and coming here to the
thanks for
studio,
having
talking
us.
Thank you,
stories.
Kamaka.
So fun just to hear you guys
Mahalo.
reminisce and talk stories about your memories together. Is there anything you want to share before we wrap up? If not, tell us where we can find you.
I just want to say hi to my kids. Lisa and Asa.
He's cool. He's super
I'm
cool.
on a cool podcast, not the regular one. You can find me at Jon Yamasato.
Yep, got
Anywhere.
a website too. Lopaka Colón. Check out the Poet and Forefathers. I'll be doing some lessons pretty soon. Check that out too. I'll be talking about later.
Yeah. Awesome. JakeShimabukuro.com. But yeah, we just want to say, man, congratulations on
Yeah.
all your success
thank you.
and
Yes, Kamaka.
and all that you do to lift up the community and lift up the people around you. And
And
it's
then
really-
follow Jake maybe for any of our Pure Heart stuff
Right.
because
Okay.
he would announce it on his site for sure.
Okay, right on. Yeah, and we'll tag everything below and make sure all the links are over there. So,
Okay, cool.
Cool. Well, mahalo, John, Jake, and Lopaka for joining us on the Keep It Low podcast. Spread love, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. We have new episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka, and remember to always keep it aloha.